Thank you, Matti. So, the market for 2023, and of course we only give a glimpse here on it, because in the following strategy presentation is a lot of information about the market and where we act in. But a very short view on energy. The energy transition, the volatility in energy prices drives our customers quite a lot in improving efficiency and in the longer term sustainability. That market is great. Volatility in supply cost, in production cost for our customers always means good business for Bilfinger. Why? Because we can help them to reduce it. We can help to produce more with less. That is our speciality. Another part in it is the revival of nuclear power, what we see as a green energy resource. We are in the demobilization in Germany, and we are involved in the building of nuclear power plants outside Germany. We are leading in helping, supporting customers to deal with nuclear waste, no matter if it's fresh waste or very old waste, like the mine site Asse in Germany. The other big business, vertical industry, where we are in is chemical and petrochem. The customers have quite a fluctuation and volatility on the resource cost, raw material. They have quite a fluctuation on the energy. And at the same time, they have to keep their prices, their products, competitive in a global environment, which is tougher than 20 years ago, which is tougher than 10 years ago. That volatility is a big, big need and demand to help to support them to get that production part stable and actually that they can forecast it, what the cost is. And here we are as a Bilfinger company in the key, in the core of the industry to help them. The other part is pharma, biopharma. Pharma, biopharma enjoys a deglobalization. No matter that for a lot of people, myself included, deglobalization doesn't sound that nice. In pharma, biopharma, it's very nice. Because it means that the idea that you have one or two global big production sites to serve the whole world with vaccine or pills or anything else is gone. Based on Corona, they localize. And localization means fast build-up of smaller plants, what we call modular plants. You have examples here, and we are leading in that container-based fast build-up of highly efficient, sustainable biopharma and pharma plants. With our Bilfinger support is possible. Then we have oil and gas. And oil and gas, there was a lot of negative talk about, and still maybe it is. But the facts are the industry didn't invest a lot in the last few years, most likely in the last 10 years. And now it's the time to invest to get the assets, which are partly a little bit worn down, back on track, especially in 2023, as long as the oil and gas boom is ongoing. And these customers all have net zero targets too. They invest heavily into carbon capture, they invest heavily into biofuels, hydrogen, and so on. No matter that the market in itself is still small, but this is a big market area in the future. And it's one of the products what Europe will be able to sell worldwide in 10, 20 years to come. So the outlook for 2023 from our point of view is positive. But of course, we won't have the coming out of the Corona crisis. So from a growth rate, we have to be more, let's say, humble in it. If we then look into the outlook, the forecast, what we give a forecast up to 4.6 billion euro in revenue, a 3.8 to a 4.1 EBITDA, which brings us, of course, a step closer to the promised target in 2024 to be above 5% EBITDA. And a free cash flow of 50 to 80 million, which is, of course, impacted by the outflow of the more than 60 million this year.
In a changing world, courage, expertise, and resources are crucial. Here at Bilfinger, we are ready for change, ready to meet tomorrow's challenges. We are a powerful partner to our industry customers, and aim to become their number one when it comes to efficiency and sustainability. With our end-to-end range of services, we support companies in achieving their goals in these areas, no matter if they grow or decline. We focus on our specialized competencies in the energy, chemicals and petrochemicals, pharma and biopharma, and oil and gas markets. But we can utilize our core competences over all process industries equally. Efficiency and sustainability are particularly important in energy-intensive industries, and demands on them are growing constantly. Increasing our operational excellence offers additional opportunities for Bilfinger to grow. By bundling and standardizing our solutions, we create a unique offering for our customers along their entire value chain, no matter which industry. Across the globe, digitally and through innovation. At Bilfinger, our people are at the heart of this growth. We systematically invest in the training and professional development of our team. We foster innovation and expertise to provide the best possible service. That's how we become our customers' #1 partner in efficiency and sustainability, and pave the way for them to meet their financial and sustainability targets. Bilfinger is indeed the efficiency and sustainability partner of choice for an industry in change, today and in the future.
So, now we start with the strategy explanation and going very much into details. But before we go into that slideshow with all the information and guiding you through what we will transform the company into, I would like to start with that. I started in March last year as the CEO, coming from an industry or from industries by far more volatile than Bilfinger is. Believe me that, and by far more exposed to more difficult markets than we as Bilfinger are. What I found is a company with a significant upside potential in supporting customers, in helping them to actually earn more money and to help them to move them closer and on the net zero target set. And I found a company with more than 30,000 highly competent, motivated people in North America, in the Middle East, in Europe, and some other parts what we still have on the list. And I found a customer group who is demanding more from us. And I can be quite transparent here. The first 20 customer meetings I had, there was only one who had one negative sentence in it. All others asked for more, faster, organized, and please help us more, Thomas, wherever we go in the world. That's the world of Bilfinger. But the world of Bilfinger is too that we lack a little bit self-confidence, why ever? And that we are maybe playing from time to time in fields where we should not play because they are not highly profitable or profitable at all or too risky or anything else. That all came fairly quick, like quite a sledgehammer on me in it. But, and that's the but, I was never alone, and we started immediately to work on, to look into how to make a strategy. And we announced it. We had in July already the so-called Team 12, actually more than 12 people, to internal people to look into how to build the future for the company, where to place the company in the future, where to go with all the more than 30,000 people to have our space in the core of the industries. And then, based on that, yes, we implemented a top management, a functional organization from the top, a group executive management, where HR, procurement, products, innovation, the segments, finance, and so on are reflected. 8 people. When we are in one room, the whole company and all the customers are reflected. Because I'm a big fan, and thanks God, Matti too, of simple, less management level, team approach in the business. That is what we run for. And I'm very happy that as the newcomer, the new kid on the block, having a CFO with me with more than 30 years experience in that company. So when we look into what we will do with our company is actually nothing really new in total. It's a next step of development. We will put Bilfinger as the #1 in industrial services to help and support customers to enhance them to earn more money by improving their efficiency and their sustainability. And the market for that is unbelievably big. And the competence what we have is huge and gets further developed. But in a first direction, we have to get our operational excellence under control and done. Efficiency program is the first step. We announced it in November, it will be finalized in December, and we will deliver more than 5% EBITDA in 2024. And then we go on with standardization, bundling, and so on. The other part which is really new in that strategy is that we place us in the efficiency and sustainability corner. Whatever is not supporting that will exit the company. If we then look into the financial targets, we will grow 4 to 5% in average per annum for the midterm. And midterm is 3 to 5 years. Why not more specific? In the volatile times where Corona came out of the nothing, where the Ukraine war came out of the nothing, we had some presidents in North America making some issues too, and so on. It is actually not really fair to go on 5 or 10 years specific and to say what will happen. The likelihood is then too low. But here with the midterm, 3 to 5 years, we build it bottom up to show how we achieved it. And you can measure us because it will be transparent and it will be over-communicating into the market. Our EBITDA margin will increase in 2024 to 5% plus, as we call it, and the years after to 6 to 7%. And you will see how it will build up. And the cash, which is so important for us, not only as a financial figure, actually as a figure to drive performance in the company, will be with a cash conversion of more than 70% in 2024 and more than 80% in the years to come afterwards. So what's the growth, the 4 to 5%? We see in the market where we work in a growth rate of around 2% for the next 3 to 5 years. But we have as Bilfinger what we call a self-propelled growth. And the self-propelled growth is easy to describe. If we start to sell all the profitable products what we have into the existing markets, what we already have, this is self-propelled growth. And we have customers demanding that from us. It is not so that we have to knock on the door, would you like to take? They ask us, you do that here in that village anywhere in Germany, why are you not doing it in US with that too? Because it would make our life as a customer of you significantly easier. We can do that. And then in the next phase, we can look to go with these clients maybe out of the territory where we are acting in. But at first, we deliver that what we said with the more than 5%. On top of it is M&A. And one word to M&A. We are interested to strengthen the core of Bilfinger. We are interested, only interested, in investing there, which is supporting us in our strategy. We are not interested to go into new endeavors, not from a geography, not from a technology point of view. We are in the core of the industry and we can gain more. There's a lot of more business to go. And that is where we will strengthen ourselves. Today, Matti and myself will guide you through the overall strategy. Then our 3 segment heads, Jürgen, Christian, and Thorsten, will go into their segment strategy. And you will recognize it is a sub-strategy of the overall. And you will recognize there are KPIs, timelines, clear figures, what we do, where we go, how we achieve that. And why is that the case? We do that you actually help us. And you help us in one thing, because if you look into the KPIs, how we perform, you make actually our organization aware that each and everyone who is working in Bilfinger is contributing to that result. Internal communication, the best is that you have a good external communication. That's the transparency. So be aware, there are quite a lot of KPIs, there are quite a lot of targets in the different action points, what we call lever. And these colleagues will guide you through with a lot of examples what we already do. Because a lot of that, what we say, we already do. Not everywhere, maybe not that well organized as it should be, but that's a strategy for. If we then look into the new normal, sit in a chair of a CEO today. Take any chemical company sitting anywhere in Germany as an example, and compare that with 30 years ago. In between the financial crisis, immigration crisis, Euro crisis, Greek crisis, Mr. Trump, Mr. Jinping, I can go on for hours which kind of high volatility and impact on the business happens. But overall, it's deglobalization, it's overpopulation, overregulation, climate change, the education gap, lack of skilled workers. Yeah, it is all over. And there is no break. You know it yourself. You come home, you open the newspaper, or actually your iPad, and you get the same message what you have in the job. This is where our customers are sitting in. And what is that asking for? Making your own life easier in the business. Because with that high volatility, you still get people like you and other investors, maybe myself, asking for a good forecast that you fulfill it. Everything is volatile, but you should hit a number. So what are you doing? You go out and ask for help, outsourcing, make or buy, partnering up, solution partner. Please, Thomas, take that, come here to Rotterdam, take that and just do it and give me each year an improvement and show me that we get more sustainable so that my overall target for the group, what I have, is fulfilled because I said I will be net zero in 2050. And I don't know how to do that without having a good maintenance, turnaround, consultancy, engineering business from you guys. The world for Bilfinger, our world, my world, Matti's world, all the world of the colleagues is this: investments like hell. Governments, the state of Hessen, where that beautiful Frankfurt is in, is having targets for net zero and climate change and would like to invest. Companies are doing it. This is a huge field. And do you really think it will end in 5 years? Never, ever. This will go on for decades until we achieve that what we want to achieve. And the important part is, yes, it is important to go into new technologies, but it's at the same time more important for the next few years to improve the assets what we have, because all the people are working there and they need income. And there is where we have the CO2 production. And we as Bilfinger are sitting in, we sit on the sides, we have the knowledge, the competence, the digital, the people, we have it. Yes, we have to organize a little bit more standardized and more easy to read, not only for you, for customers too. But the field is great. Let us look into the market. You judge us on verticals. Why ever? The 4 verticals, energy, oil and gas are here a lot, actually more outside than internal. Pharma, biopharma, chemicals. This is the addressable market of Bilfinger. In energy, more than 60 billion euro. In chemicals, more than 30 billion euro. In biopharma, pharma, more than 20 billion euro. In oil and gas, more than 20 billion euro. And the growth rates you have on it. And then we have that what we call others. Others. I will come to that, what others means. Others means ketchup, diaper, whatever. You will be actually quite surprised where we all work on. So that growth rate of that market is 2% for the next 3 to 5 years, as we calculate it as an addressable market, a market where we can act in North America, Europe and Middle East. Not Australia, not Latin America, not China, not India, because that's not our market. If we then look into that special niche in the market, where especially in Germany, the whole world is always talking about it, the green technology. No matter if it's hydrogen, battery plants, biofuels, carbon capture, you have examples on it where we already work on it. This is not new for us. This is absolutely not new for us. But we are in, and we are in with project business because there is no maintenance business yet, because the plants are get to build. And if you don't have a plant, you have no maintenance. So we are in that business with the project, and that is what we will do in the future too. Why? This is one of the main products what Europe will sell in the world in the decades to come. That is where we are leading. That is where everyone in the world is talking about. And I know definitely what I talk about, because my whole career, I did actually in most of the part of the world except Europe. And they know that Europe is green, and they know that Europe is on sustainability, and they know to look into Europe to make that happen. And that's the reason why a country like India, with 1.4 billion people, has a green deal with Denmark, with 5.5 million people. Nice greetings to my Danish colleagues. So out of that, what is it? What we really work on? It's the horizontal market. Because it doesn't matter which industry. If you have pipes, if you move gas and liquid, and it's complex, it's us. If you have high energy cost, it's us. If you have complex work with thousands of pumps and electricity and a lot of people around where you need education, it's us, it's Bilfinger. That's a horizontal market. 80% of that, what we do in all the industries, is similar. Which means I can move, we can move our people from one industry to another if one industry goes down. But that is not happening, because if an industry goes down, they call us to help us to get down with the capacity. Because these assets are billions of value. And no one comes on the idea to say, I shut them down. You saw that when the gas from Russia was gone. And everyone said, oh, then we take gas from North America. You know that each gas is related with the deposit. It has a different chemical setup, so you have to treat it differently. Who did they call to make it happen that you can take gas from Northern Africa? Bilfinger. That's exactly what we work. That is the vertical. 80% is equal, similar between the industries. 20% is domain knowledge. If we weld on pipes in nuclear, then you need specialists for nuclear welding. That is what we have too. If you build biopharma and pharma, you need specialists out of our Salzburg office to make that happen, and they do that very well. That's the domain knowledge. And that domain knowledge we have to be able to offer to each client in North America, Europe, and Middle East. And other companies are doing that for decades over product centers, and we will do so too. That's functional organization. That's the efficiency program, nothing else. There's a clear plan how we realize it in steps where we deliver, where we have milestones, so that we engage the people and make them accountable and getting the self-confidence up. If you then look on that slide, you see on the left side the frame and service part, which is the recurring, low risk, actually quite profitable business, what we really love, and the project business. We will decrease the project business from roughly 1/3 below 20% in the future. And we will do projects, as I said, for the green technology and where long-term customers with a potential for maintenance, for engineering, consulting work afterwards to help there with their investments. And that is where we are really great in it already today. That's our world. Our world goes from consultancy to help customers to come on site and to tell them how good their site is. Not everyone likes that, what we say. I have to say that. To engineering, modification, maintenance, supported heavily by digital products. And there we are on the innovation. We as Bilfinger don't need to develop rocket science. We utilize startups, universities, well-established high-tech companies and combine it to a product what we need for our clients. You have an example with NDT, drone-based, on the upper floor here. Watch. Each thing is an own innovation from a company. And we as Bilfinger combine it to offer it to the clients. And they are more than happy about it. If we then go on, so what do we offer? The value chain you got. We are more than 30,000 people in 27 countries. More than 90% of our customers are buying more and purchasing more than once from us, which is very nice and very healthy, a stable business. We are organized in 3 segments. And we are roughly 70%, actually last year a little bit less, Jürgen, not 70%, 67% in Europe. And then the others more or less equally around. Which shows we have huge potential In North America and Middle East, because they boom, and the colleagues will tell you why they boom and how they boom. If we then look into the customer again, if I would sit on your place, I would think, yeah, sounds nice, but is really the market ready for that? Yeah, the market is ready because customers develop. When I started with my career in the 80s, last century was that, sounds very old. When I started my career in the 80s, what was important in service? That you knew the customer, that the customer knew you, and that you had people on site. That's it. And a little bit technical competence. And then it was growing in the technical competence. Then on top of it, digitalization came. And digitalization didn't come 10 years ago. It was already before there. We didn't call it like that. We called it automation. So out of that, we are now in the digital phase. And now with all the volatility, what they have for their production units, wage increases, resource increase, energy up and down like a roller coaster, and then they have to have a product which is always priced the same, and if possible, competitive to the Chinese and Indians and who else. That is efficiency. They run for improved efficiency. Make my backline stable and each year an improvement in cost. That would be great. And the next thing is, with the EU taxonomy and the whole world regarding the climate change, is the sustainability. They all have net zero targets, all. How to achieve them? The OEM suppliers, the big equipment, where I worked before quite a long while, they make roughly 60% of the sustainability on the site. Who is taking care of the other 40%? Who is doing that? With thousands of small business here and there, highly complex, not high-tech everywhere, but highly complex. We as Bilfinger, we can go out and say, come to us. If you buy one or two, you can get the full package from us. And when you look to the right side, that is what we do with our company. We are today working in an efficient, little bit sustainability-related area, as you see on the y-axis. On the right axis, on the x-axis, you see single trade. What does it mean? Single trade means if we compete with a mom and pop shop, with all respect, in scaffolding. Of course they are cheaper. Of course, they are sitting around, they have no headquarter, they have no stock market, they have no internal, external communication. Very often, the CEO is the papa and the mama is the CFO. So that's the thing. In all respect, great business, great people. But if you would like to work on efficiency and sustainability, this is not enough. This is not enough to get really a step ahead. For that, you need to combine the business. You have to make, in that case, ISP. Why? Because then you get the advantages regarding sustainability and efficiency. If we can build scaffolding and immediately putting the insulation in, we can be up to 2 months earlier in the energy reduction with that system what we have than anyone else. 2 months of 2% less energy cost on a big chemical plant, I can tell you, it's a double-digit million euro figure. And we are not getting a double-digit million euro figure paid for. That's a little bit of pity. So that's our part where we go in. High profit, high entry barrier. Not a lot can do that. If you play in that area, you have hundreds of competitors. And you know, if you have hundreds of competitors, your profit margin is low. We go here, and others can follow us, and there we are maybe a handful doing that today, partly. We have in our area the best offering for it already. So what I'm talking here about is actually that we look into that what we have as single trade, scaffolding or insulation or painting or consultancy or. We have to combine it into an end, and at the end as a together. And that is the multi-trade and then the solution partner, where we have already today clients coming to us and saying, I don't want to look into that. I don't know how to deal with it. You take it. We go there, you just take it. The only thing what we have as customer is each year you prove that you go down in the cost. And we make open book policy. We say whatever cost we have, how much money we earn, we can make open and transparent, no problem. That we are, because we sit in the same boat. But if you have a higher profit, I get more money. If you don't have a higher profit, we work both on it to make it happen that I get more money. That's the model. Are all the customers asking for that? Not today. But when they come to the net zero target set from a timing close to it and seeing, oh, bad, we are very far away from it, then latest, we are really top in it. And we do it already today. Solution partners, we have quite a lot of customers doing that. Multi-trade, we have a lot who are doing that. And single trade, of course. But if someone buys from us a single trade, one product only, they know that we know the other products. And then they know if they make a mistake, we will tell them, I would not do it like that. You should do it like this and that. We can help you. That's the competence. And it's not for free. If we then look into our business model is built that we enable customers to earn more money. That's the business model. And that is the vision what we have, to be the number one. The number one is not the most beautiful, intelligent, or the biggest in revenue. It's the one where the customer says they are the best competent company in efficiency and sustainability improvement. And that is where you earn the most money. And with our step of 6 to 7%, we are in the upper quartile, the upper 20% in that sector in North America, Europe, and Middle East from a profitability. When we then go into how to do that, because that was the starting, how to do it. In a strategy, it is important that you have clear action points, transparent, and with clear target set on time, on where you have to look, who is doing it, when they are doing it, and so on. And we call that strategic levers, and we divide them into 3 pieces. Efficiency program. And in that efficiency program, functional organization. The second is operational excellence, standardization, bundling. And the third one is positioning. As I said at the beginning, when we go into markets like North America, where we are not offering a lot of the great products what we already do with the same clients in Europe, very profitable. That's market expansion on the product offering. This is self-propelled in the growth. So when we look through these different strategic levers, you will see them several times today, of course, because what we set for the group, the segment managers choose and pick what they need to make their segment into that financial area, what we demand from them and what they are able to deliver. So we track that on, what is it? I take here in the efficiency program the functional organization, which will be done and implemented up to the end of this year. It will impact the profitability. Timeline is 12 months. You can judge us on it. Competence development, unbelievably important. We have a lack of skilled labor. They talk about schools, and I don't know what they all talk about. We need to educate our own people more. Why? Because they can do it. They are intelligent, and they are willing to do so. And it makes us more competitive. More competence, we are significantly better in efficiency and sustainability improvement, makes us more attraction towards all any other peers. With that competence in the value chain what we have, great. So we move with that into the position number 1. Then procurement. In the new sustainability world, in the scope 3, you look to your clients and you look to the back, to the ones who supply to you. You know, when we look, I come later to that with how much we cover of the CO2 with our own company, because that's very tiny. If we then look into competence in itself, because that's always an important part, we will invest more than 0.5% of the revenue each year onwards. And it's calculated into the figures, what we presented as financial targets, midterm and for 24. On top of that, what we already do. Why? Because it increases our competence. It makes us more attractive. It makes actually more fun with our own people when you see that they grow and they want to have a career, they want to learn. And this is not white collar only. This is actually for Bilfinger more on the blue collar side. And we have great developments, and others would like to have it too. And it makes for younger people really fun if you take a German welder and send him to UK for education and then on a plant in the Netherlands to work on. Bilfinger can do that. We can offer that. You see here our colleagues on the roping. This is highly attractive for young people because if they get our education, they actually can go, I don't want to have you in the Himalaya, but the Alps would be actually quite nice. That is what we can do. This is competitive advantage to attract good young people being willing to go out to the industry and to help to make sustainability and efficiency happen. Not sitting on a sofa and having nice speeches, really going out and doing it each day, each second, each minute. We can do that. And of course, we as an employer of choice, if we are placed there, this is a hell of a good branding and makes us towards our clients unbelievable attractive. If we then look into the operational excellence, the next package of levers, there we have standardization and bundling. Standardization is not only product standardization. I'm an absolute fan of standardization. You would not imagine what I standardized in my own life. Standardization is fantastic. It means that you focus on that what is important and not to reinvent a thing what already exists 3-4 times a day. You take that module and you put modules together, and that is what you work with. As an example, in shared service, as you mentioned it, Matti. If we have shared service, they all work the same, because if we then have a labor shortage in shared service location A, I can take people from B and putting them in. That's it. That's standardization. Standardization gives you, as an employee, free time to focus on that what is most important, the customer, and to generate profit. You don't need to reinvent a product. They are already standardized, and service products are definitely capable to get standardized. Our Team 12 proved it and worked that fantastically through in the last 6 months. De-risking. We want to be in a business which is low in risk. We don't want to go into a business where we don't know what comes out, and then at the end we don't have any business afterwards and only paying money for it. This is not what we want. De-risking. Matti will talk more about it. Digital and innovation. I said it before. We combine high-tech from others into a product for our clients, as we have it with the entity, the drone, and the people upstairs, what you can watch. That is for us innovation. We don't have an R&D department. No. We look what is needed, we call partners in, startups, universities, big technology companies, and then we take the best of them, combine it, and make a product out of it. That is competitive. That is highly competitive in predictive maintenance, to help customers, to tell them months before a disaster happens that they can still avoid it if they let us on the site and doing the right work. If we then go to positioning, positioning for us has 3 elements. Market expansion. I talked about that we sell all the products what we have in all existing entities. That alone is a hell of a good self-propelled growth. But as a next step in that market expansion, we would like to go with our clients when they go into what we call adjacent market. If we have a German chemical company, no, I take now biopharma, a German biopharma company, and they would like to do something in France, why are we not going? Come on, it's only a virtual border. I'm from Région de la Sarre, I'm half French. Not a problem to go over and to make the business. We will do that when we are done with the efficiency program, operational excellence, and getting all our products in existing countries sold. Then we go into the next step. But that is in the 3 to 5 year scope. Sustainability partner. In the future, you will see, in 10 years, you will see that clients are actually not asking for, I need scaffolding, insulation, or anything. They will ask, I have that CO2 tonnage equivalent, and you have to help me to get that down, because otherwise I pay tax like hell. There are industries like cement. If the EU CO2 cost is coming through with 130 euro, they will have a problem to have any profit left if they are not dramatically improving their CO2 setup. And that is, not in cement, but in all industries, we can help them. We can go in and making their life simpler and showing them an improvement track record over years by utilizing our competence, our products. And we can measure it in CO2. You will see very quick, and we already do it partly, not everywhere, that on each quotation what we send is a sustainability part, if the client wants it or not, because they will grow into it. And then when we say we do that consultancy, it will save you the following energy cost. That means in your energy mix, that reduction in CO2 tonnage. And we can say that money per ton, what you pay to us, is your reduction in CO2. And with that, they will go out and getting a better rating towards their clients and towards their employees and towards their societies where they have the plants in it. We as Bilfinger, we can do it already today. And the last thing is, if you go out and tell people how to do better in efficiency and sustainability, I think it's clear that you have to be on your own efficient and sustainable. No one would go to a dentist having only black teeth, minimum, not myself. That's exactly, you can smile about it, but that's the truth. Customers look into that, how your setup is. If you tell a client, I'm offering you efficiency, and then he has to call 20 people to get one answer, do you really think they believe us? Not a second. Internal efficiency is unbelievably important because you create an environment of efficiency and sustainability, what you then put into the business. So, what does it mean for us? We committed to the SBTi, science-based target, the commitment to the 1.7 degrees Celsius, and we work on it. And no matter what people say, it doesn't matter if we achieve it or not, we have to work on it with everything what we have. But we have to earn money on it. Otherwise, it will not fly. The second thing is, we will have a full GHG reporting in 2025. And then for 2030, carbon neutral, and for 2050, done, net zero. And you will see most likely these time targets will change in getting shorter. But over the time, you develop and you see what you can do more, as we see it with our clients. On the top of the page, you see 4 of the 17 sustainability development goals. And as you may know, I was my whole lifetime in chemical, construction and mining. And the former company I worked was mainly in mining, 70–80%. And I was actually nominated in 21 as one of the sustainability managers of the year in the most green country in Europe, Denmark. And how? Because the same what we do here, we focus on some areas of the sustainability. If you focus on everything, you don't focus at all. We can contribute and making a real change in 4, 7, 8, and 9. Of course, we do in other sustainability goals a lot too, but this is our focus package. And one part of it is what you see on the right side, the EU taxonomy, which is not that easy to understand, to make it nicely, is not covering a big part of the industry, surprisingly, and absolutely more or less, I think, less than 0.1% of industrial services, when we are actually on all the industry and all sides. So that will not help us to get transparency to you and to drive the performance and development internally. So we classify, as you know it, in A, B, C, D. Where do you know that from in the private life? Refrigerators, heaters, whatever. It's actually fairly simple classification, and we use that too. We have today less than 10%, actually around 5% of the business which is not showing an efficiency or sustainability improvement. That we will exit. It's not about selling big companies or so. It's a business down here, not doing that business there, labor lease not there, and so on. Then we have roughly 3/4 of the business in the C class. The C class shows for the client clear improvement in efficiency. But it's quite a bridge to build to show what really the sustainability is. We will do that. If we do, coming back to my beloved scaffolding and painting and insulation, if we make a 2% energy reduction, we actually can calculate how much tonnage of CO2 we save for the client. That is then the class B. And the class A is the green technology, when we work on hydrogen, carbon capture, biofuels, not LNG. Not LNG. But in that area, we invest a lot by doing more and more work because we have a lot of competence, and we will move Bilfinger in that picture with that business, what you see with 77% in 21 and 73% in 22 towards the A and B class. And the future Bilfinger will be an A and B. That's where we will position the company in it too. And you see that we already did in 2022 quite an improvement in that area. And nuclear, for us, is a green technology, to make that clear, because we are in Germany. So, out of that, that is the overall what we do with the company. To set it up a little bit again, we have two main directions: efficiency program, operational excellence, and the new positioning into the efficiency and sustainability. That's the Bilfinger, what you will see in the future. And with that, I give to Matti, our CFO.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas. Let's take a breather.
You?
Global warming. Huh? Good. So, how does that, what Thomas explained to you, translate into the financials? A brief recap. Growth rates, what we expect in the midterm, 4 to 5% revenue growth over the next few years. EBITDA margin, 5% plus in 2024, and midterm 6 to 7%. Cash conversion increase 70% 2024, and then 80% as we measure cash conversion, free cash flow divided by EBITDA. Looking at the starting point, and if I exclude 2020 as sort of the COVID year, our operating platform is about 3% EBITDA. Are we happy with that? Certainly not. If I look at the competencies, at the reputation, at our people, client relationships, and so forth, 3% is not where we should be operating. So there's significant profitability potential in what Thomas showed you in terms of better efficiency, operational excellence, positioning. This is how we see that we can develop and improve our EBITDA margin. So that's our journey for EBITDA progression. The efficiency program will deliver 1 percentage point to the bottom line by the end of 2024. Program initiated this year, implemented 2023, full run rate improvement in 2024, 1 percentage point. Operational excellence, midterm, 1 to 2 percentage points. Again, this is something that is on us, in our control. That is us to become better and more profitable. And then positioning, another percentage point in the midterm. A little bit more flavor on the details. Standardizing core functions, creating a functional organization. Shifting transactional tasks to shared service centers. Nothing new, something that's already at work in Bilfinger, but there is more to be had, and I come to this in a moment. Optimizing our IT. We've spent a lot of money in the last few years, which was one of the reasons for adjustments in the past. We have built the foundation for a much more efficient and effective IT. This is something we need to deliver on. Procurement. We have instituted category management, but there's more to be done to drive the maturity level up in supply chain. Also, make or buy. What do we do ourselves? What are we buying? For example, in IT, we are still performing low-level basic services ourselves. Nobody does this out there. Where you are all coming from, standard is you have a service provider. That is what we're looking at to implement in Bilfinger. Have we made progress in the past on SG&A? Sure we have. From 8% in 2019, pre-COVID, we're at 7.1%, 7% in 2022. That should improve to 6%, and midterm, The expectation is that it's less than 6%. That would put us into the upper quartile of our peers. Why is the efficiency program so important? If you look to the left-hand side, we still have quite a number of, I call them operational silos. Do we have HR in each of the legal entities? Yes, we do. Is HR performed in a standardized, similar way across all our operations? Not yet. That is where we will. That is where we are working on with the efficiency program to come to a situation where a function, an administrative function, is done the same way no matter where you are in Bilfinger. Standardization. You can then move people from place to place. And they still find, okay, here is Bilfinger. I know what to do. I know where to find. Shared services. We do have shared services, quite a professional shared service center in Germany in 2 locations. We have similar organizations in other countries. Are they working the same way as the one in Germany? No, not yet. Okay, so let's get it standardized. Make sure that we have shared services across all our operations. Support them so they can focus on what's important for them, sell and execute. Operational excellence. Very close to my heart, having been in the company for a long time. We can do better. Number 1, de-risking our contract portfolio. Right now, as you have seen on the numbers for 2022, the revenue share between framework contracts and project contracts is about 2/3 to 1/3. There is so much more work to be had in frame and service contracts that we can allow ourselves to rebalance our portfolio, de-risk the portfolio, make it more visible, easier to predict when we go to a percentage that's more in the 80 to 20 area. Why is that important? Look at the frame contracts. They have an average tenure of between 3 and 10 years. A project has a duration of 6 months, 12 months, 15 months. And you need to constantly go out and bid in competition. That's different on the framework contracts. We have a repeat rate of 90% plus. So when we are on an installation, on a site, and we are the incumbent contractor, and the contract term comes to an end, in more than 90% of the time, we get the renewal, the renegotiation, the extension, you can call it what you want. It's repeat business year after year after year. The longest tenure with one client is 80 years for Bilfinger. And Jürgen will show you later on about a relationship that is 50 plus years, on and on and on. Standardization, uniform product definition drives productivity. That's not a secret. That is what everybody does in a production environment. So why not us? We can do this as well. When we standardize and when we bundle, we have instances where we work on the same site for the same client with 3 different services and 3 different contracts and 3 different teams. Does that sound efficient? I don't think so. So bundling the service under one contract reduces interfaces for ourselves, for the client, for everybody else. Gives us profitability potential. Digitalization. In processes internally drives performance. We do use quite a bit of robotic process automation. Simple things, very simple things. In Norway, which is a little more advanced than Germany on digitalization, a little more, yeah, you have the right and in future the obligation to send all your invoices in digital format, right? How do we do this? Or how were we doing this in the past? Well, you produce your invoice in SAP, you print it out, or you make a PDF, and somebody sends an email. No more. This is routine, mundane tasks. It's boring. We have a bot working. Once the invoice is created in the system, the bot makes sure the invoice gets to the client. Yeah? Faster time, helps you on working capital management, helps you on efficiency, and so forth. So, a little bit more flavor on contract selection and execution. This is the heart of our business. We're a contractor. So, we are working on contracts. Opportunity selection, and I think a lot of this has been talked about already. But we have set defined risk criteria. What are we willing to accept and where are we not willing to go? This becomes very important when you're tendering, when you're negotiating, when you're sort of out there hunting, trying to win the new work, trying to win a new contract, trying to convince the client of our ability to help them with efficiency and sustainability. Yeah? But let's make no mistake, we're in competition. So when you tender, when you negotiate, you must remain steadfast within your risk corridor. That's extremely important. It is being tightly controlled within Bilfinger. For sort of the finance guy, the most beautiful contracts exceed the margin that we plan and the cash that we plan. It's not the nicest picture on the marketing brochure. Delivery capabilities. This is about, when we enter long-term relationships, it's almost about a marriage. Do the capabilities of both partners fit together? We know what we can deliver. We know what we can do. But we need to ensure that the client understands what we can deliver and we understand what the client can deliver. If you look at large construction projects, that is where it oftentimes fails. And then you get into long-winded tail risk discussion about who is at fault and so forth, and typically the contractor is in a weaker position. So make sure that when you get together, you know each other. And then the last one is probably more speaking to myself and our organization. KPIs, performance measurement, performance measurement, performance measurement. It is key to success when it comes to contract selection and execution. Market positioning. We're talking about, in the first part of the journey, we're talking about scale effects. So, as Thomas explained, we're in a location, we're selling certain services to the client. We have the ability to offer the client more services. Do we need a new organization there? No, we don't. We have one. Do we need new people there? No, we don't, because we have people there. So that will help us add another percentage point. If we look at the sustainability partner aspect of the strategy, this will change our product mix. We will have a higher share of planning, project management, engineering type resources that we're selling within our contracts. That gives us the opportunity to command more and better prices. So hence more money to the bottom line. As we have more responsibility, we have better control over our workforce on site. It's very expensive if you have 100 or 200 people on the ground and they are standing idle. If we are reactive, waiting for the client to tell us what to do, that tends to happen. Are we getting paid for this? No. Going forward, we have more control over this. And obviously on being sustainable ourselves, we look at cost savings. You have seen the reduction in CO2. We will change the energy mix. We have put in place and are putting in place solar panels to generate electricity on locations that we have. And that will also help add to the bottom line. Now, even more important, cash conversion, which is an efficiency measure, as you well know, on how you utilize your working capital. We look at making improvements there. The main driver for cash generation will be profitability, obviously, but then working capital management is another part of it. Have we made improvements? Yes, we did. We refer to NTA, which is net trade assets. Others refer to trade working capital. These are terms that you can use interchangeably. We've made another good progress in 2022, where the DSO reduced from 67 days to 62 days. But that's the year-end view. I'm of the opinion we need to look at average, because that is when you bring your working capital down. So here we're looking at the average NTA as a percentage of revenue. We've made progress there from 14.5% to 12%. There is more improvement to be had through the levers that we talked about. De-risking contract portfolio that enforces a faster cash generation. It doesn't take months and sometimes years to negotiate the final settlement and the final payment with the client. Standardization of our offering or the positioning. All of this will optimize our billing process. In Germany, in 2022, we have sent invoices with more than 100,000 individual billing items. That's a huge administrative effort. Selling bundled services will reduce this substantially. Makes it a lot easier for the client to check the invoice, sign it off, approve it, and move the money into Bilfinger's bank account and not the client's bank account. So as a summary, we're looking at revenue growth continuously. We're looking at EBITDA progression. We're looking at cash conversion. All of this will enable us to have a net profit that allows us to continuously grow our dividend. You have seen the proposal for 2022, €1.30 per share, which is up from €1 as the floor, showing our confidence in our ability to deliver what we have and are showing you today. Investment grade rating has been extremely important to Bilfinger for a number of years. We're not giving up on that goal. Investment grade rating is important and remains important to us. It forms an important part of our financial policy. So, continuously growing dividend, funding organic growth, funding M&A, if and where it makes sense, to support the implementation and delivery of the strategy. We spent 100 million euros in 2022 on a share buyback program. Are we going to do this year after year? No. But share buyback is a tool in the toolbox when you think about creating total shareholder return. So if and when it's appropriate, that's something that we will address and communicate. With that, I think I'll turn it back to Thomas.
Thank you, Matti. So, as Matti laid out, these are our financial targets, 24 and 25 to 27. And you will see after the lunch break, where you please mingle with the technical people upstairs. And I don't know if it's allowed, but if some would like to rope a little bit.
No, you need 3 days introduction. So, if somebody has time for 3 days.
So, no, to be serious.
Yeah.
I hope you see that this strategy is built up from the bottom, clearly over action plans, clearly over transparency, clearly over KPIs, over timeline. As I said before, it is important that we are that transparent and communicative on it, because your comments each quarter and each time we meet, how far we are, we can report on it, you can track us on it, and it will drive our internal performance too. Because with that, we will lift up the accountability, and all our colleagues will see which great job they do each day to fulfill these targets. If you have only one target, like return on capital employed, it's fairly difficult to explain a colleague out of the blue-collar area which kind of impact they have on the return on capital employed, which is reported once per year. That's not working. That drives accountability, and that puts us with self-confidence into the market, where we have a big competence and customer relation, all opportunities to be in the core of all the industries. No matter if we produce ketchup, which is nothing else with a lot of pipelines, where a liquid, which is red, getting pumped through with some wear in it. If we produce raw material for diapers, which is a liquid where you have pieces of paper or wood in it.
Pulp.
Pipes.
Pulp.
Pulp and paper, as you maybe know. And, or if you go into vaccine production and little pills and, yeah, vegan cheese, what we will hear today about what that means to replace cows on the grass field. That is where Bilfinger is involved too. And no matter that we smile a little bit when we talk, we are unbelievably proud of our people doing that. We are unbelievably proud that we are in the core. And that will drive motivation and our self-confidence to achieve that, what we have here. So our strategy to move the company into that right upper corner will happen. That's a given. It will happen that we make the operational excellence, and it will happen that we position us there. And the mood and the tailwind what we have in the market, in the organization, is significantly bigger than we see at the moment the market momentum for us in the growth and that what we can do.